Good day, everyone. It is me, RWP, the Real World Prepper. Let me start by saying I apologize that I haven't been on here in a while. Many of you know what I've been dealing with, and we all deal with our own SHTFs and our own crises. For those that don't know, my mother is ill. In fact, she's terminally ill, and her time, while I hope it's a long time, it is limited. All of our times are limited, we know that, but hers actually has a clock ticking now, and the doctors are talking about, we've started the hospice conversations and all that stuff. But what I wanted to talk about today, it kind of pertains to this, to my situation, and those of you that have dealt with this same kind of thing, and that is about prepping in terms of broader thoughts, reaching out beyond the beans, the Band-Aids, the bullets, blankets, whatever else you want to put in there. Yes, those things are definitely important, especially going into the times that we're going into. 2023 is expected to be a lot worse in terms of cost of goods, availability of goods. While I believe a lot of that is manufactured, it is still the case that we will suffer these things. I believe, and many economists and people who are in the know a whole lot more about it than I do will tell you the same. Many of the other channels are telling you the same. So I'm not trying to drop fear or panic on you or anything like that, but be prepared and be aware that these things are going on, and this is what's going to continue to go on. So yes, have the beans, have the Band-Aids, have the bullets, stock up your food, your supplies, definitely amp up your security, all of those things. Keep your family close, keep them trained, yourself obviously included. But here recently for me, one of the things that I've had to prepare for, has been a little different than the average or the typical recipe for preppers, right? Because we don't know when, the SHTF, the big event, if there is going to be one, is going to pop off. I tend to think more these days that it's going to be death by 1,000 cuts. But that being said, there are preparations that we have to make in life that, as a prepper, in the sense that this channel and many like me come from, you really don't think about and really aren't typically included in the lexicon. And that is having your affairs in order, okay? That is like, I'm speaking in terms of, if you're terminally ill or a family member is terminally ill, do you have the things in place, such as a will, such as executorship, such as durable power of attorney over family members, and all of the things that excuse me, I want the wind to blow this over. It's pretty windy out here today, but having the things in place so that when, all right, I'll just give you my situation. My mother is dying, and when she's gone, if there wasn't anything in place, a legally binding will and wishes and etc., all those things, then all this stuff goes to probate, whatever it is, whether your family or your family member or whoever we're talking about, has a vast fortune and properties and assets and etc., or whether they have virtually nothing. Whatever it is, the decisions about what's going to happen with those things and with those plans and with those wishes will be left up to a probate court, a probate judge who doesn't know you from Adam and really doesn't care. And I have talked to many people over the last 30, 40 days that have been in situations, people that have helped me to do some of these things, which I'll explain in a minute, that have told me horror stories about 3, 4, 6, 10 years down the road still fighting in court over properties and monies and, and who shot John, right? All that good stuff. Siblings squabbling and family members, flying around like vultures, to pick at the bones of what's left and that kind of thing. While my situation, I don't think is like that. My family dynamic is such that there won't be, I suspect, any squabble over anything that's there, and there's not much there. And let me go ahead and say, I don't pine for or want for anything other than for my mother to be well and to come home. As much as, whether or not that happens, and outside of that. But anyway, so what I have done in the last month, 30 days or so, since you guys haven't seen me, is I have been working hard to get all this stuff done on behalf of my parents at their request. This is something that they asked me to do roughly 10 years ago. My mother she had a health scare about 10 years ago and made her wishes known to me, to us as a family, and asked me to be the executor of a will and to execute all her wishes and, what goes where and what's going to happen with this and so on and so forth. And I encouraged them I said, hey, that's great. I would be glad to, I'd be honored and happy and willing, obviously, to take care of all these things. Let's go see a lawyer. Let's make it legal. Well, that got pushed aside and pushed aside and pushed aside. And the topic came up many times over that decade. And I got more and more frustrated, admittingly, to the point to where I said, look, if y'all aren't serious enough, Mom and Dad, to go ahead and take care of these things, and let's make it legal, and I'll help you in every way. I'll make the contacts, I'll do the legwork, and we'll put it all together and make it happen so that your wishes are carried out. And, it took until this situation for it to become serious enough. And this is not throwing shade on my parents. It's just, I understand. People are people. I'm a procrastinator of a lot of things. I admit that. There's no doubt. But nonetheless, I have worked very hard to the point of having stress levels up to here to get all this stuff done for them. And so it is now done. It is now legalized. It is now, her wishes as far as her health care. Here at the end, her wishes as far as property and assets and who gets what and what she wants to happen and what's going to happen with my father and everything, who needs assistance himself. He's disabled, and so that's all been done. I can tell you that as a prepper, this is something this has made me think about my own wishes. Should something happen to me, what's going to happen to my family? Now, what I do have in place right now is a decent life insurance policy so that Mrs. RWP and little RWP would at least be able to take care of, they'd be able to do quite a bit, Mrs. RWP, should she choose to, if I pass, she could pay off the house, she could certainly bury me or cremate me or whatever the heck. I told her I don't care, it's up to her. She would be okay. Is it a fortune? No, but it's enough to where she can take care of some things and not be burdened, with financial things and that kind of thing after I'm gone. And so we have finally got that stuff done on behalf of my mother and my father. And I think it is a very important thing to consider. If you guys have not done it, if you have not considered it, do it. Consider it. Talk to your parents if you've got aging parents. Talk to your spouse if whatever your age. Go ahead and have a plan and make it. And if you're young enough and healthy enough and everything, and your situation changes over time, you still have the opportunity to amend said will, said wishes, legally, if need be. But do something. Make that preparation so that the ones left behind don't struggle and don't have a fight on their hands that likely they're not going to win, as it were, because I hear, like I say, horror stories about the probate system and how it just all goes to crap. I had told my folks that if they didn't, get up and get serious about this stuff, that I frankly wasn't going to bother with it, because I'm not going to fight a fight over virtually nothing when it could have been taken care of on the front end. We have done that, so that is not a fight I'll have to fight. There is a fight going forward for sure in that regard. It's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of tough decisions to make. Certainly, once my mom does pass, whenever that is, again, hopefully that's no time soon. But she is very ill, guys. Prayers appreciated. You know, a lot of decisions to be made regarding Dad, my sister, you know, their assets, what's left of the estate. So that's just my word to you today. That is a prep that doesn't have to do with, you know, the lights going out, you know, and the hordes coming to you, and you're having to fight off people for your protection, for your food, for your safety, and all these things. But yet it's still something important to prep for. So I hope you guys take this message as an important one that you should heed, this advice that you should heed, and go ahead and do these things for yourself if you hadn't already. Anyway, sorry it's been so long. Once the holidays are over, and again, we're still dealing with these things going on regarding my mother and all these things, so Christmas and all that, it may be spotty when I do post, but I'm going to try and start posting regularly again just as soon as possible. I appreciate all you guys who have reached out to me, that are still here watching. You know, it is what it is, and I appreciate you guys. So again, I'm RWP, the Real World Prepper, and thank you. See you guys later. Bye-bye. Merry Christmas.